Your weather guy here with your 2024 fall forecast. So what we're going to talk about today is, and there's a lot to get into, I'm going to try to not be long-winded. You try to make these videos direct to the point without a whole lot of fluff. But first, got to ask you if you haven't subscribed yet. For those that have subscribed, actually, by the way, super appreciative. Thank you so much. It means a lot. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Help this channel grow. I will greatly appreciate it and forever be in your debt. So what we're going to talk about first is sea surface temperatures. I love looking at the Pacific Ocean. It is such a big player when it comes to sensible weather in the lower 48, mainly because it's directly upstream from the lower 48. So always like to look at the Pacific, see what's going on there first. So what we see in the Pacific, we have our La Niña trying to come on here to the west coast of South America. In the northern Pacific, we have lots of warm sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Alaska, and then just south of the Aleutians. So anytime that you're doing seasonal forecasts, long-term, monthly forecasts, what you want to do is look back at prior years, see if you can find some prior years with similarities, and see what happened in those years. The past is the best indicator or predictor of the future. So let's go ahead and do just that right now. The first year we're going to look at is 2022, so we don't have to go back that far. 2022, we see our La Niña, which is more west-based, but nonetheless, we do have a La Niña in 2022, or we did, and we have our warm sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Alaska and to the south of the Aleutians. 2020, the next year we'll look at, same type of deal, right? La Niña, or at least, La Niña trying to come on at this point. Warm sea surface temperatures to the south of the Aleutians and in the Gulf of Alaska. Go back to 2017. We'll just look at two more real quick. 2017, same type of situation. Cooler waters to the west of South America. Warm waters to the south of the Aleutians. Plenty of warm water actually in the northern Pacific. We do have a cold pool south of the Aleutians this year though, which is that little bit different, so a slight difference there. And then the last one we'll look at is 2013, if I can find it. And then 2013, again, similar type of theme. We have our cooler waters to the west of South America along the equator, warm pool in the Gulf of Alaska, and to the south of the Aleutians. So if we take these years, put them into a database, figure out what happened in the following months, we'll specifically focus on September right now, we get this. So the following Septembers in those years, plenty of warm temperatures, especially in the central and western part of the United States, northern New England, and really the only below normal temperatures in those years in September were southeastern part of the United States into the mid-Atlantic regions. So let's take a look at some climate models right now and see how that matches up to what we're seeing with the analog package. Pretty similar. So this is the CFS-V2. This is the latest version, just came out, matches up really, really closely to that analog package. Warm temperatures, western part of the United States, and slightly below normal temperatures to near normal temperatures in the southeast and the mid-Atlantic, and then warm temperatures in Florida as well as northern New England. So again, let's compare this to the analog package. That's pretty similar, right? So I would say at this point in time, look, seasonal forecasts are tough, but right now I have pretty high confidence in this forecast right now. Another reason for that is the MJO. So let's actually take a look at the MJO real quick. The MJO, the Madden-Julian oscillation, has a pretty big impact on our weather here in the lower 48. So the MJO has eight phases. This inner circle right here, whenever it's in that inner circle, it's very weak. It doesn't have much of an impact, and that's where it's been hanging out recently. Forecasts are that it is going to come out and it's going to gain strength. It's going to come out in the phase 4 here in short term, and then go into phase 5 if these, if the forecast is correct here. So phase 5 in September, we can show you the correlation there. Does that look familiar? So phase 5, plenty of warm temperatures again, central part of the United States, western part of the United States, outside of really the eastern part of the United States where you typically would expect below normal temperatures. So there's a lot of things pointing to the same solution. So we'll go back over to the analog package here real quick. So again, pretty high confidence in this forecast just because everything's really pointing in this direction. The one thing I will point out is I don't think the central part of the United States is going to end up that warm for September, think it's going to be kind of a tale of 2 months. It's going to be some cool temperatures early on, and then the warmth will eventually overspread as we head later into September. And I think you probably finish slightly above normal in the central part of the United States. But for the most part, I think this looks pretty good. The eastern part of the United States are probably going to be close to normal, I would say. Maybe some places end up slightly below normal, but for the most part, I think the southeast, mid-Atlantic is going to be close to normal. Outside of northern New England, you're going to be above normal, and then maybe even South Florida as well. Wouldn't be surprised if they finish slightly above normal as well. So what happens at the surface is in direct response to what happens in the upper atmosphere. So this is 500 millibars. So it was just like 3-4 miles up. And you can see there's plenty of above normal heights across much of the United States, Canada. When you have this type of pattern, it's just really, really difficult to get any cool air or below normal temperatures to infiltrate the United States. You just don't have an avenue for it to get that way. So until this changes, we can just expect more of the same, unfortunately, if you like the cooler weather. So actually, let's go for it. I do think we do see some changes, and the analog package does indicate that. So those years, in October and November, we started to see some major changes take place in the northern United States. You can see we now have below normal temperatures where you just experienced, well, above normal temperatures in September. And that's an indication that La Nina is starting to take hold. So I think we start to see that as we go further into the fall. October, November, likely to average above normal, to maybe even much above normal for the eastern part of the United States and then the western part of the United States as well. And then I think as we head probably late November into December, we'll start to see some things change as far as that goes. 2013, if you remember, was very, very cold, an early onset to the winter. I think it's going to be quite that cold this year, but I would not be surprised if we saw an early onset to winter in the eastern United States as well. So we'll touch more on the winter coming up, probably in short order here. I'll do a more in-depth winter forecast. I just did a video recently, just kind of like a winter outlook preview. So take a look at that if you get a chance. And as far as precipitations go for the fall, pretty dry across much of the country. Now, I will say this, if we get a tropical system, like one tropical system could completely crush this map, especially if you get something going in the northern Gulf of Mexico, rides up the Mississippi, or even something on the East Coast. But I think this is going to be the overall base pattern here, is going to be relatively dry for the fall. So well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.